calling back home. And explaining why you come back empty-handed. I mean, of course, with nice experience and everything. But at the end, the experience is not paying the bills.
A very warm welcome to the video. That little clip you just watched at the beginning was Sebastian Kienle reflecting very briefly after his performance at the Ironman in Israel. And today I want to talk about why being a professional triathlete may not be all that it seems in terms of the lifestyle and the stress involved when we consider the financial pressures of any kind of, I guess, any profession. Being a professional Ironman, if you want to make as much money as you possibly can in your life, probably isn't the way to go. And like Sebastian Kienle said, they're one of the best in the sport, or over the years, one of the best we've seen in the sport, amongst the best. And, you know, I guess experience does not pay the bills. So this was the prize money, what was on the line for Israel. And we see that 33 competitors in the pro men's, for example. This is just for the men, but it's the same through men's and women's. But talking specifically about Kienle, he finished in 12th place, so not even in the money, absolutely $0. And you know, for first place, $15,000, so that's nice. But you've got to win the thing. You know, Patrick Lang won the thing in a 2.5 hour marathon. It was like a 2:31:30 or something like that. So ridiculous just to get $15,000, and it's decent. It's a decent payday, but you know, how many Ironmans can you do in a month or in a year? You can probably only do maybe a handful. So you know, you'd be looking at winning them all just to break into six figures in terms of absolute prize money. So obviously it's very tough. You come 10th, you get $1,000. You know, like that wouldn't even cover, obviously, a lot of these athletes. Some of them won't, but some of the higher athletes or higher ranked athletes will have obviously sponsors, and they'll get allocation of fundings to support their travel and stuff like that. But remember that, you know, if you have to spend, even if your whole trip's free and it doesn't cost you anything, if you spend a week traveling, going to the racing, come home with nothing, what's still a week of your time, even though you might not have been out of pocket even, and a lot of them will be 100%. Even if you're not out of a pocket for a week, you know, time is money. And if you're 1 week without making anything and you're coming back with nothing in your pocket, well, that's a very unfortunate situation. And then you don't take into account, obviously, the months and months of training that go into preparing for an Ironman. So very tough. And then, you know, so $15,000 for first, down to $1,000 for 10th, and don't even pay 11th. So Kienle came 12th. And of course, it notes down here, you know, the formation of the professional triathlon organization, financial rewards from performance and not solely from on-day performances. And this is one of the few 2022 races remaining to improve your ranking. So they do have this $2 million prize pool that's awarded at the end of 2022. But even then, it's based up on, you know, well, that's based up on a points table from individual events, which are accumulated and compounded to the end of the year, whereby, you know, you might get a share depending on where you kind of position at the end and the races you've done and your performances. That's a very good thing. And I really think this is fantastic in terms of making the sport more of a viable profession for those professional athletes. But even then, remember, it's only the very, very top guys that are making a decent living from it. And if you're not in that top, you know, if you're not consistently placing top 5, even 5th, coming in with $4,000, even if the whole thing cost you nothing to go and do and everything was covered, $4,000 in a week, you know, people can make that anyway. Like, it's not, and it's not guaranteed. And that's the thing. Injuries, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, we'll even go and have a look at the Kona Ironman World Championship prize money, and even that in itself is, I'm not going to say laughable because it's decent money, but it's for a world championship. If you win a world championship in any other sport, you know, or the higher paying sports, it's very much pennies. So let's have a look at the Kona Ironman World Championship prize money. So we have the prize purse for the professionals at Kona, and the top 15 men and women both get paid, or all get paid. So 30 in total athletes in the professional field will be getting prize money, And you see that obviously first place is a lovely figure, $125,000. Second place will be almost half, or just under half of that. Actually, a bit more than half of that, sorry. Third place, 45, 25. And then we go down 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, dropping a little bit each time down to 10th place where we get $11,000. And then 15th place takes home $3,000. So, that's providing you come top 15. Obviously, top 15 at Kona is a pretty decent result. And, if you go to Kona, you come 10th where you get $11,000. And like we were saying, earlier, just even sometimes the amount of time you need to spend on the island might, some pros might go there a week before, 2 weeks before, even if it's all covered, which often for some people and some pros, it won't be. And they'll be out of pocket to only bring home $11,000 for like a 2-week trip. It's great. It's successful, but you're never guaranteed anything. So it's really, really tough. And, I think that from the sense that, obviously there's, like we mentioned, there's more to prize money. There's more to earnings in triathlon than just prize money. Many factors result. However, I think that if you want to, if your goal is to be a professional triathlete to get rich, then you're probably on the wrong track. I think, it's all about these guys are doing it because, it's a job for them. And many of them do well. However, you've got to realize that your career in Ironman might be 10, 15 years, maybe more for some. Your career thereafter needs to be looked at. What are you going to do afterwards? You need to have a plan for the rest of your life because you can't keep doing Ironman forever as a professional, at least. And also, I think we've got to really give these guys credit because they're doing it, for money and for their job. But at the end of the day, unless you're the very best of the very best, in that top 5 in the world, you're really probably not making an absolute fortune and comparative to other sports. So these guys are doing it for the love of the sport. They love pushing themselves. And I don't think we should ever forget that as people watching them because, you can kind of, I guess, aspire, well, not so much aspire, but particularly when, people are younger, they might admire the lifestyle of a professional athlete and look up to pro triathletes and think, well, it must be such a great lifestyle. You go sit at the coffee shop, enjoy a coffee and do training, do what you love. And it's like, that's true. But at the end of the day, there's also a lot of stress involved and there's a lot of time out training where they're not making any money. They're just investing time into their performance. And if that doesn't pay off, well, that's a hell of a lot of investment of time into your performance. So pretty tough gig. And I think we should, always appreciate the show that these guys put on for, in general terms, lack of huge financial reward. And I'm not saying you can't do really well at a triathlon. Many do, winning Kona, great prize. But it's not guaranteed and only one person can win any race. And only 15 people can get paid at any race like this. So tough gig. Let me know what you guys think. And I just think it was nice to, or at least good to reflect on what some of the pros go through because we always think about, age groupers and the struggles. But I think that from a professional standpoint, a lot of stress is involved, particularly when things aren't going well, which is probably more often than not if you think about the span of a whole career. So take care, guys. Hope you found that interesting, and I will see you in the next video.